What up, y'all? I know it's been a minute, but I just wanted to share a recent thought that came to mind, but I want to frame it in a way that hopefully most of you all can understand. And I'm gonna come from a cultural experience. Now, there's a well-known instinct within our community, and when I say our community, I do mean the Black community. When we see a crowd of people suddenly running in the opposite direction of where we're going, we don't stop and ask questions. We take off right along with them. And I'm talking no hesitation. Why? Because there is a valid reason of why all these people are running. They have a sense of urgency. They're running away from something that we don't know. So us as Black folk, we ain't trying to stay and find out. We rather get to safety quick, fast, and in a hurry. So in other words, it's better to respond immediately and be safe than to stay and risk everything. In this same way, I believe this same analogy hold a great spiritual weight in regards to the gospel. Now, whether or not one currently accepts the Bible as divine truth, the testimony of countless believers throughout generations is clear and consistent. Jesus Christ came to save humanity from the consequences of sin. He came to save us from eternal separation from God, otherwise known as hell. Now, according to scripture, hell is described as not merely a place of discomfort, but also it's unimaginable suffering. You got fire and brimstone, this unending torment and spiritual anguish beyond comprehension. It's not a place anyone would welcomely choose or consciously choose, nor is it a risk any person should take lightly. Now, consider this thought. If the Bible is false, right, and there is no life after death, then that means living a life aligned with Christ, marked by love, integrity, and service. That's still a notable, meaningful way to live. However, if the Bible is true and one has rejected its message, the consequence is then not merely regret, but it's eternal. This is what theologians call Pascal's wager. Pascal's wager, yeah, that's it. Pascal's wager. If there is even a possibility that heaven and hell is real, does it not make sense to align ourselves with the path that leads to salvation? Is that not like the common sense route rather than gamble with our eternal destiny? Now, going back to the analogy, just as we would instinctively run to avoid unknown danger, might we also consider the wisdom of responding to the gospel with urgency and with humility? Man, like the risk of doing nothing is far too great. Pose this question. Think about this. Which is the greater risk? To live for God and possibly gain everything, or to live for self to potentially lose it all, including your soul? Now, one may reasonably ask, why should I follow Christianity over all the other religions in the world? That is an important and it's a deeply personal question, one that deserves both thoughtful reflection and evidence-based consideration. First, from an evidentiary standpoint, the Bible stands alone when it comes to its accurately predicted prophecies that came to pass, come to pass, and that will come to pass. The Bible has foretold hundreds upon hundreds of recent historical events and events that happened during our lifetime. These fulfilled prophecies, spanning centuries, speak not only to the supernatural origin of Scripture, but also the trustworthiness in its message. Additionally, advances made in archaeology, history, and science continue to uncover physical and textual evidence affirming the Bible's historical claims. And man, I'm talking cities, I'm talking cultures and artifacts that we once thought were just a myth or we thought it was symbolic are being discovered in the exact locations and the exact context that is described in Scripture. And we're uncovering this thousands of years later after the Bible has been written. To me, this is why the Bible stands out alone, man. There's no other religion or belief even close to this. But beyond external evidence, there is a theological distinction that demands attention. Christianity declares that salvation is found solely through Jesus Christ, and the rejection of Jesus Christ results in an eternal separation from God, commonly referred to as hell. Now, from what I know, correct me if I'm wrong, no other religion or belief makes such bold claims of rather you believe in this or you die. Other than Islam, but even Islam make reference to Jesus. Even Islam acknowledges the Christ. So this convergence invites deeper reflection. If there are other faiths and other beliefs that make mentions of Jesus, or that regards Jesus, or that acknowledges Jesus with reverence, then that means the claims that he made himself in the text in the New Testament should not be dismissed lightly. Jesus did not merely claim to be a prophet. He claimed to be the way, the truth, and the life. So that means Jesus is the exclusive path to the Father. He's the exclusive path to righteousness itself. So in light of the prophetic accuracy of Scripture, the growing body of evidence, and the unique claims of Christianity, the question is not merely why should I choose Christianity, but rather can I afford not to seriously reconsider it? That's all I have to say. Food for thought.